Hello and welcome to today's episode of the PivotCast. I'm your host, Sarah the Pivoter. Here on the PivotCast, I interview super rad humans from around the world doing epic things in all walks of life. This is a platform to share their voice and their story with you. In this episode of the PivotCast, we're going to be hearing some super rad ideas from Tircia Dycka. She's going to be talking about the importance of a business energy audit and how most of us actually deplete our own energy. So we'll talk about how we can understand our own energy, understand boundaries, and get some steps for integrating well-being into our business. If this doesn't sound like sustainable success, I don't know what does. Tircia is a rebel boss woman and helps women to expand their business outside the box. She runs a fantastic group on Facebook with fellow rebel boss woman Lisa Latimer. Tircia is an energetics expert helping intuitive and empath female entrepreneurs get more clients by simplifying their tactics so that they can attract more clients without sacrificing their well-being. And I think that's something, no matter what business you're in, that we all want a little bit more of. No matter where you're tuning in from today, please do share your comments with us live and ask questions. This interview will be posted across all socials after we finish, so you can also tag us, and we'll get the answers to you afterwards as well. So without further ado, let me bring Tircia on. Tircia, thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm so happy to be having you here today. I love the group that you and Lisa run, and obviously rebel women, like getting out of the box. Like, I don't do things the normal way that a lot of business people do or entrepreneurs do, and so I just absolutely love that. Can you tell me a little bit more? We've got people saying hi to us, so hi guys. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you guys came up with this name, this concept, and a little bit about how you got to where you are today?
Oh, wow. So Lisa and I met through a Facebook group, and we just happened to live close to each other, which was even
Amazing.
more amazing. Yes, I cyber stalked her, and I saw she kept writing New York, and I'm like, I live in New York, and so one of the things that we did was we just started to meet, and we started talking to a lot of other coaches about what they really wanted from their business and what was going on within their business. And we created Rebel Boss Women because we got so tired of Mother May I and all these other groups. We got tired of getting our hands smacked for putting posts up, or we just wanted to have a place where boss coaches could come, they could collaborate, they can talk, they can be themselves. They can say, you know what, I don't want an email list anymore, or I don't want my website, and it's all okay. So we wanted to create a space where coaches could come and hang out and actually enjoy their business without getting stuck into a one size fits all, or the judgment of what they did not want to do with their business, because there's a lot of that right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I love that you guys were actually really close to each other. So this is
Yeah.
the power of the internet. I mean, I also met Lisa and then you subsequently through a Facebook group, and then got into yours, and just been having so much fun. And it's really refreshing to see women really stepping into their own and daring to be different, because there's been a lot of this like putting in the box, but we often do it to ourselves.
Yes.
So can I ask you, when you kind of figured out for yourself, like, hey, I'm still putting myself in the box here?
Oh, when did I figure that out?
Yeah.
I figured that out a couple of years ago, but I'm going to honestly tell you, you still figure it out.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
there
No
there
doubt.
was, I really, realized that I wanted a whole lot more from my business. And I realized that it was not happening with the way that I was going about it, because I was following everybody else's. I mean, I would
Mm,
see these posts, so and so made X dollars, or those
yeah.
all these posts, you got to do it my way. I've got the answer. I've got the this.
Right.
And I got so frustrated because I was not getting the results
Mm,
that they were getting. So I finally stepped back and I said, all right, I've had enough. What am I doing that I need to do differently for myself? Because I started to feel bad. And I
Mm,
was like, no, 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 I don't want to feel bad about my business, about myself. Um, what do I have to do? And quite frankly, I know you're in the group. So I think maybe 6 months ago, I said goodbye to my website. I let my
mm.
website
I'm
go.
at that stage.
I let it go. I was like, oh, gone. And people are like, oh my God, are you kidding? I go, no, it just doesn't work for me. And I don't need a website to have a successful business. Like we are beaten into our heads. You have to have a website. You have to have your funnels. You have to have your free offer. You have to, you have to, you have to. And this is really part of the energetics of our business
Mm,
because you have to understand you're putting yourself into every single aspect of your business. You're
yes.
putting it into the website, the funnels, your content, your social media. And when you start doing this, you're actually, your energy is being dispersed into all these different areas. And instead of following the paths you really want to, you get drained. So when it's time to do something that you really want to do, you're like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm tired.
Yep. Oh, I hear that one. And then because you don't follow through on what you said you're going to do, you start to lose that self-trust, right? Because you're not honoring what you say, and then you start to hide from it even more. And then it turns into this like, it's like when you've got that closet and you're just like stuffing things in there. And then at some point it's gonna burst open, everything's gonna come crashing down on you.
Yes. Yes.
But
It's like
we
this big black mass of in the sky, the black holes. It's just gonna keep
yes.
getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it blows.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that you figured this out just a few years ago, but you're still figuring it
Yeah.
out, because I also went through something recently where I all of a sudden fell back into some old behavior patterns and some self sabotaging behaviors. And I was like, what? These haven't reared their head for like a couple of years. What is going on? And then I just realized, like, oh, there's another layer to pull back. And it also made me realize what you just said, how I was dispersing my energy too much in different areas. And so I just couldn't handle those things. The structures and the support I had is for when I'm running smoothly. But when I get down into crisis mode, I need the big guns. Like I need more, or I needed more awareness to put new structure and support that was deeper. So I think it's a lifelong journey for us, no matter where we're at on the journey.
Yeah. And I really want to focus on something you said because you have to have strategy. You
Mm,
have to have the energy. The energy is everything. It binds everything together. But people say, "Oh, your energy has to be great." But you need strategy. You need
yes.
something to grow your business. They both work hand in hand. So you have to have a great energy about it and you have to focus on what's good for you, but you also have to have a strategy.
Yes.
And the strategy has to be something you love to do. Like for me, and it was interesting. I love video. I love getting on video.
Yeah, me too.
You know, sometimes I don't like content writing, these long ass posts people do,
Yeah.
but that's okay. That's being okay with knowing the strategy that works best for me. So if you love to write, go for it. Write these posts, ask people to work with you, you know, be very solution and result oriented within those posts that you're putting out in the public. You don't want to do video, don't do it. Like
Yeah.
people force themselves to do something because so and so said it, or that's the newest thing going on. That's
Right.
going to help me grow my business. But if you force yourself and you resist it, again, you're going to drain your energy again. So when it comes time to connecting with your clients or potential clients, you're not showing your true self because you're already draining your energy doing
Yeah.
stuff that you've resisted and really didn't want to do. You
And then
didn't.
you get resentful, right? And
Yeah.
the whole reason you have your own business is to be able to feel good and do the things that you're passionate about. So we're, again, we're depleting our own energy because we're not listening to ourselves. We're listening to everybody else. I really like that you brought that up. But it's also important to have the strategy piece. And I'm
Absolutely.
the same as you. I don't like always sitting down and writing things out. I much prefer to do video and
Mhm.
voice. But I had this realization yesterday that when I consume content,
Mhm.
unless it's from a specific person, I prefer to read
Yeah.
or I
Me too.
prefer to listen. but I prefer to deliver in video because I'm animated. So when I really connect with someone, then I prefer to watch them because then I get so much more out of the experience. But in the beginning, I prefer to read. So it's just quite interesting as we learn about ourselves, and what feels good to us and how we run our business and then how we are as consumers. I think that's quite an interesting thing. What are your clients if facing in that kind of space energetically?
They're see one of the things that they're facing energetically is not taking care of themselves. They're not going. Here's the thing. If you're not taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, you're depleting your energy when you go out to show your face to the world. I keep saying this over and over again, you're depleting your energy. But if you have had shit sleep for days on end, how do you think you're showing up to the world?
Yeah.
If you're not giving yourself some downtime, like right behind me, I have a paint table.
It's beautiful.
I go back there and I paint rocks.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
That's your Zen. That's your Zen.
That's my Zen. Yes. Yeah. And if you're not eating well, people they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Or, oh my God, I'm so busy that I put a cup of coffee and a donut. And then you wonder why your energy crashes because you're feeding your body. I love coffee. Please don't get me wrong. I drink coffee. If you follow me at all, I'm a coffee addict. But when you're feeding yourself crap all day long, your body's struggling to maintain itself. Yeah. And again, I'm going to tell you what's going out to the world. Yeah. What's going out to the world. Something I just recently, a friend of mine told me about, and I thought she was joking. I'm going to say this: tart cherry juice. Try to say that fast.
I've heard about the tart cherry juice for sleeping.
Yes. Hands down, the most amazing. I wake up so refreshed. It's insane.
I've never tried it.
Oh, it's great. It's great. So these are things to implement for yourself personally that help you business-wise. And they're just silly things. Tart cherry juice. Tart cherry juice.
Yes, if you say that 3 times fast, you're going to get tongue-tied.
So, these are just little things. And another one, I tell my client, I had a client come to me once. She's like, I'm so tired. And we started to talk and I said, well, explain to me what you're doing during your day. To find out, she gave herself this much time between each client. Yeah. Don't bottleneck your clients. Give yourself some space in between to decompress, to have a glass of water, to ground your energy. If you want to show up for your clients, because you have these amazing soul-loving clients, you have to show up the same way for them. Yes. You have to do that. And if you are not, then you need to find something or what's going on that is not allowing you to do so. And that's where boundaries come in. That's boundaries for yourself, boundaries in your business, boundaries with other people, boundaries with social media.
Yes, that's a big one because a lot of people run their business on social media, right? You have a Facebook group, you've got an Instagram, a TikTok, a Twitter, YouTube, and we've got all of these platforms where we're giving, and we're getting down to that 1% charge on the I say on your phone, right? It's 1%, and then you plug it in and you're so furiously trying to do something and it dies on you. And then you sit in this panic mode for 10, 15 minutes while it's trying to turn back on. And if we just caught it 10 minutes before that, we could have been on the charge and been a bit more stable and, been able to continue using it. But instead, this is how we're living our lives, right? We're getting down to that last percent, and then we get the spinning wheel of death, and then we're in crisis mode.
Yeah. And the thing is to avoid crisis mode. And the thing is, when you get into crisis mode, my phone's right here. But as soon as this reaches a certain percentage, it goes on the charger behind pictures. So I don't see it anymore.
Oh, that's a good one.
My phone's
I've started putting mine in the other room. And that has been a game changer.
Yes. Yeah. So when mine reaches 10 or below, I'm done.
Yeah.
Nothing is important. Nothing's more important than that. It's time to put this to bed. It's time to give yourself a social media detox for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And we are so convinced that we must be on 20 million platforms. I got to tell you, I was on a platform and I had 12,000 followers. I got off the platform and I deleted my profile.
Because it didn't feel good for you.
Didn't feel good anymore.
Yeah.
And you know, people are like, I can't believe you did that. What is wrong with you? My sanity is what's important. My peace of mind is what's important. So if you find that you're on way too many platforms and it's draining you, like I was on Clubhouse, I was on Twitter, I was on, oh my goodness, LinkedIn. I was like, no, I am on TikTok, I am on Facebook, and I am on Instagram, and that's it. I chopped everything else. So you have to really sit down and decide what works for you and what you enjoy doing. Like I enjoy being on Facebook because of the connections.
Right.
I really enjoy it. So if you don't like Facebook, go find another platform.
Yeah.
You know?
Go play somewhere else.
Yes, exactly.
It's like choosing where you're going to go to eat.
Yeah.
Right? You might have a restaurant that you really enjoy, and then all of a sudden, like, the chef changes, or they change the menu, and you don't like going there anymore. Or maybe you're at a different phase in life, and so that energy that's at this restaurant bar is no longer what you want. You want something a bit more chill, or you want something more like, speakeasy, or, dive bar, whatever mood you're in. Like, go and follow your intuition on what feels good, because guess what? When you can positively reinforce, get more dopamine in your system because it felt great, you're going to do it again.
Yeah. And that's a great point, because the more things that we try and the more things that we feel good about, we're creating new neural pathways.
Yes.
Which means we're creating new ruts in our brain, and our brain will start to look for those pathways instead of falling back on these old repetitive patterns and old repetitive thoughts. So it is so important when you are within your self-care, your radical self-care. It's always something about learning, trying something new. I challenge myself at least once, if not more, a month to go try something completely new. I just went to Floatopia and tried one of those floating chambers.
Oh yes, how did you find that? I love those.
I found it really interesting. I liked it, except I got a lot of water in my ears. And I'm having a little issue with that, but
the first time I ever did one, I was in such a crisis mode and like neurologically in this like such depletion. My brain didn't know what was going on. Like I got in that tank and I turned off the light and I literally felt like I was spinning for about 20 minutes. Like I was in outer space, and it was just my brain, like the signals were like panic mode, what's happening? And then it finally calmed down, and I literally felt like 10 pounds of weight lifted off of me. I had people telling me, because I went to an event that evening, and they're like, what have you done? Did you do a facial today or something? Like, you look so different. And my energy was just completely different. But that's how bad my nervous system was, that it was just like always on. And then when there was no sensory input, it panicked, and then it would calm down.
Yeah. And our bodies are constantly speaking to us.
Yeah.
They're constantly speaking to us. So if we choose to ignore them, we end up in crisis mode. We end up with our nervous system short wiring. We end up going like this. The little squirrel out in the middle of the road who's caffeinated beyond belief doesn't know where he's going. That is how we become.
Such a great image.
Well, it's the truth. It was funny. I actually said that. I said, I feel like a caffeinated squirrel today. And then that was like, Tircia, let's
wind it back.
Our role, come back into our bodies, because we're so on the go. You want to create a business, but you forgot your why. You're always rushing out for the next client, rushing out for the next market, rushing out for the next thing, that you have to step back, come back into your body, remember your why, and why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Where is your foundation? Do you have a solid foundation? And again, all of this is so important for you to get those clients, to build that business. And I'm going to tell you flat out, do not build a business based on anybody else's blueprint but your own. Take ideas, take strategies, but when you build a business because Tony Robbins made millions of dollars and that's the plan you're taking, but yet you hate it.
Yeah.
You have to step back, come back to your body, come back to yourself, and intuitively, how do you feel about it? What does success mean to you? How do you want to move forward? And what are the things you want to accomplish? Do you want to be a Tony Robbins? Awesome. Do you want to be somebody who's going to travel the world? Awesome.
Yeah.
But these are things you have to figure out for yourself so that you can figure out how to create that business and the life that you want. And don't think for 1 second it's going to be the same, because it's not. It evolves, it grows, it changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love that you said, choosing that success, because most of us we know what we don't want.
Yes.
Right. But we don't know how to define or articulate what we do want. And a lot of that stems from we're not making enough decisions. We're not learning enough about ourselves. At some point, we kind of stopped that process, right? It's not like, oh, I'm done with school, I don't have to learn anything ever again. It's like, no, the world is constantly changing. The seasons change, right? It's different in the daytime than it is at night. And so the more you can actually make decisions for yourself, then you get that self-trust back. I think for a long time, I know that for me personally, I would just give my responsibility to other people. Like I would just let them make the decision because I wanted to be nice, or because I was too enmeshed in the relationship, whether that was a friend or romantic partner. I didn't have any boundaries, or if I did have a boundary, it was like a hard, very direct and firm and aggressive boundary, right? It wasn't something that could flex and move as the situation changed. There's no nuance. It was just like, no, my way or the highway. And sometimes I still do that, let's be honest. But how do you help people with putting that into place within their business? Like what's kind of the first step?
Again, it stems from your foundation. Like, you have to say, this is a great boundary. You have to figure out, what time do you want to close your doors at the end of the night? I mean, people say to me all the time, but my client emailed me at 7:00. I had to do it. It was life and death. No. Was it something that needed to absolutely get done because they were doing a launch tomorrow? No. So what in there did you have to stop your family time, your time? It's because we felt that need to please, or we felt that need that we don't want the client to leave, so we have to go above and beyond. I think we all should go above and beyond with our clients, because we want them to get that transformation, the results, and the solutions.
Absolutely.
But not at the expense of ourselves. So I say pick a time. If it's 4:00 for you, unless it's some type of thing that cannot, I don't know. Again, this is, like you said, the boundary that ebbs and flows. The client's completely having a meltdown. There is something that you did for them that did not work, that they need to do it for a launch tomorrow. There are exceptions to everything.
Yeah.
But if a client is going to be this all the time, then you want to rethink of the client. That's A. And B, you really have to trust yourself. It comes back to trust and self-worth.
Yes.
It really does. By saying no, because when you say no, you're saying yes to yourself and something else that you're doing.
Yes.
So, and it's the same thing with your friends, with your family, with social media. But I'm a very big proponent of cleaning that out.
Oh, yeah.
Getting rid of the toxicity, getting rid of the negativity, because this is a business that you're growing, as well as social media is here. For me, I use it as inspiration, as new perspectives. I mean, I love watching the people come in my feed talking about different topics, and I won't do toxic, negative behavior. I won't do it. So this is a boundary for me. It is a boundary. So I'm saying, all right, we're not doing this. And here's a perfect example of another boundary. Friend requested me, and they wanted to have a conversation. I'm all about connecting. I love talking to people.
Yeah.
I know this about myself. Again, knowing your energy, knowing what you want and what you don't want is huge.
Yes.
So this individual started talking to me about my business. And then the next thing was, what's your 3 to 6 month goals? This was the third back and forth message. You didn't take me to lunch. You didn't take me to dinner. You didn't offer to buy me a cup of coffee. You want to know my 3 to 6 month goals.
Yeah.
It's a boundary. I'm not interested. Let's get to know one another. You want to talk about your business? Let's talk about your business.
Yeah.
To me, that's a boundary. And then I ignored it because I'm not wasting my time and energy on it.
Right.
Let it go. And then I got a hello. Are you there?
Yeah.
Whether that's a bot or not is irrelevant. I just removed it and unfriended. See, this is knowing myself and having a boundary. So people are like, oh, you have to answer all these DMs. No, you don't.
You
Not
know.
only do you not have to answer them, you do not have to give, because your 3 to 6 month goals, I don't know you.
Yeah. Why would I share that with some person I've literally just connected with? And yet, this is also a strategy that many new coaches or business owners are being taught,
Yes.
right? I was taught that too, and it felt gross. And so I didn't want to do it. And so, for the most part, I didn't. I found other ways of connecting with people, and that was more natural, and that led to authentic connection, and has led to beautiful friendships, interview guests, has led to clients, collaborations. But I think I love what you said. You don't have to do anything. Like so many people say that to me too. Like, oh, I couldn't. I wish I could do this like you, or I wish I could just do this. It's like, yes, you can. No, I can't because I have to do this.
Yeah.
Is there a gun to your head forcing you to do that? Like, no, you're choosing to stay in that job or energy. And yes, you might have a mortgage. And yes, you might have bills to pay and children and all these things. But that's still your choice to stay in that particular toxic job when you also have a skill set that can be applied to many other things. Right? It's just this fear factor that so many people get. It's that golden carrot and fear factor, right? Like, I'm going to entice you with the carrot and then I'm going to smack you with the stick so I keep you in line. And I get to control you and make you do things that make my business better, but completely suck you dry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
and it also
sorry.
boils down to the foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything you've just said also applies whether you have your own business or not. Like, think of your family as a business unit. Think of where you're working, whether you're in a management position or not. Think of that as, your business and how you're showing up. Because when you own your own business as well, if you've got shit, that's going to show up in your business for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm definitely a big person on cleaning it up, on taking care of it, on addressing it. People keep saying spiritual bypassing. No, I'm all about learning new things. And this is for all of us. Learn new things, create those neural pathways, stop reacting and start responding.
Yes.
When we stop reacting and you start to see your triggers, you're like, okay. And that's in every area of your life, and especially in your relationships, you will see your triggers and you will say, all right, I see it. Let me pull back, and what's the best way for me to handle it?
Yeah.
It really is, it's very important. But you're right.
Reaction is literally just repeating action. So you're just repeating the past. This is why we get in these loops, why we get stuck, why we make the same mistakes. I mean, it's even as something as simple as going a different way. So I'll give you an example. Last night, my partner and I were going to the supermarket. We were walking, and he started to go left. And I was like, where are you going? He's like, Target. And I was like, Target's that way. He's like, oh, I just like to go a new way each time because I've never been here. It's like his first time in this space, right? And I was just like, oh, yeah, we could do that. But even something as simple as that, we get stuck in routines. We get stuck in these habits. And that serves us, right? Because it's efficient. This is the way that I know to go, and it's direct and okay. But if we want to explore and we want to have a different experience, this is why we go on holiday. This is why we do these things. But it's not regulated to only this period of time. We can do it every day in every small mundane thing of our lives.
I think it's so important to learn something new every day, even if it's just reading a book and learning something from a new paragraph, because again, it's a new experience. It's bringing something new into your realm. so that you are not chasing that carrot and you are learning to find that peace within and to trust yourself not to chase that carrot, because we are
Yes.
so conditioned that you're
Absolutely.
missing out. You've got to chase, you've got to run, and you're always low man on totem pole, whether it's in
Mhm.
your business and everybody should be above you. And that is not the case.
Yeah,
When we step
absolutely.
back, stop, and center ourselves and start to trust that peace within us, that God within us, universe, whatever you want to call it, um, it's amazing the things and the places you're led.
Absolutely. And I think that the more you can follow that thread, right? It's like
Mhm.
you pull the piece, how long is a piece of string? You pull it, and it just, there's always more that's going to come out. And so sometimes we unweave the tapestry of before, and now we've got
Mhm.
all this thread. So we create a new tapestry. And I think that's what a lot of people forget is through these moments of change, these pivots, or building their business, and they care a lot, right? They want the best for their clients. And so that's why they're doing all the things. But it's actually, I think it stems from especially certain generations or cultures, but if you're not busy or you're not
Mhm.
working hard, then you're lazy, right? And then they carry this like judgment, and then that becomes their story, their narrative. And so I'm sure that's happens a lot with the clients that you get. So what would you say to someone who's got that mindset when you're doing this audit with them?
Basically, it is bringing them back to themselves and asking them if that's the truth anymore, if that's the
Mm,
way they want to live. Like my dad was out all the time. Like he was a doctor, so there were days he would be gone 24 hours a day, and he would come in and be like, this is hard, that's hard, da da da. And I believed that for a long time.
yeah,
So when they believe that, that's affecting them on a cellular level.
absolutely.
So I want them to know that this is affecting you on a cellular level. You are embedding that into your body, and your body is looking at that. Like these are our thoughts. Our thoughts become things. And when we continue it, we actually bring it into our body. Those emotions get stuck and we get sick.
Yeah.
I know this firsthand, hands
Well,
down,
same.
hands down.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I ask these questions. Do you want to continue down this path? Because what's going to happen is you could potentially get sick. You're losing out on opportunities because our mindset is stuck and narrow. There is no growth here.
Mm, yeah.
Um, and a majority of them, when they're coming to me, they want change. They
Yeah.
know there is something going on and they want that change. So it's not always easy looking at what is going on in our lives. It's not. But
No.
when you're at
No.
that point that you are ready, willing, and able to change, you're showing up. You are
Yes.
showing up.
And I love that you said willing, because the truth of the matter is a lot of us say we want something, but we're not willing to do what it takes to get there, right? Like, I want the six pack abs, but I want to eat KFC every day. Well, then you don't really want the six pack abs. You maybe like the idea of it, but you're happy looking a certain way and being able to indulge in KFC. Okay, great. That's fine. Admit that to yourself, right? The more we can do that, the less suffering and
Yeah.
judgment we have. And I think a lot of us hold these stories, as you said, and they get programmed into us from very young ages. And as
Oh,
we
yeah.
can release them, we can then start to explore what we do like, what does feel good. And then we can bring that into our businesses a little bit more.
It's interesting you said that because I actually saw a meme about doing the same thing over and over. It was repetitive and
Yeah.
you're not willing to change. And I stopped and I thought to myself, here's the other piece about being an entrepreneur and owning your own business and creating that foundation is when you see something like that, make it reflective.
Mm.
What in you, or look at yourself, because that's exactly what I did. And I said, where am I saying I want to change, but my actions are showing me I'm not? And
Yes.
that was like, boom, light bulb.
Yes.
So that made
Okay,
me,
I just got goosebumps.
yes, that the last week I have been super intentional. Like I will not pick up my tablet to read, because that for me is, I love to read until I've gotten these other things done. Because if I want some different result, I have to do things differently.
Yeah.
So I don't tell my clients to do anything I myself am unwilling to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah, it's big. And that's the thing of, being honest with yourself, looking in the mirror and really being honest, because we are very good at lying to ourselves and justifying and creating these stories, and that serves us sometimes, and other times it limits us. So just getting really clear on that, and then just owning it, right? Like, I think that's the biggest thing, is like letting go of that old identity, grieving that we're no longer this person, this version, taking the pieces that we do want to keep, acknowledging the pieces that we're leaving behind, why they served us before. And then, that allows us to kind of pivot more into who we're becoming. But we often just have that nostalgia, right? Like, we think about the ex and we're like, oh, they did this and it was so great. And no, it wasn't. Like, if you go back to that relationship, it would be shitty, right? So we have to understand and like be just really clear with ourselves and just be kind and compassionate. I think that's something I was really bad at for a long time,
Yes.
is I would just be really mean to myself. And thankfully that happens less and less now. If it does happen, I can catch myself a lot more easily. But yes, this has been amazing, Trisha. I feel like we could talk for hours.
I know.
But I would love to have you on again, and maybe we can do a special episode when I'm in New York later in the year with you and Lisa. That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome. Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so Trisha, if people would like to contact you, I know you mentioned TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, right? So what is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me via DMs through Facebook.
Great.
They can definitely do that. And then you can also come join Rebel Boss Women.
Yes, definitely go and do that. It's a great group. There's so many great things happening in there.
Yeah, a lot of great things in there.
Beautiful. So this is going to be posted into Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We'll make sure that we get your links and we post them in there so that people can find you.
That's great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Trisha. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
So for everyone else watching this later, please put #replay. Please also share with us your favorite thing from the Talk with Trisha today. I hope you had as much fun as I did. We would like you to share your favorite thing. And if you have any questions, remember, we will be watching the videos so that we can come back and answer you later. Remember, real pivoters are human beings just like me and you. So all it takes is the choice is to do something different. So go out and choose something that's going to make you sparkle a little bit more today and keep on keeping on. We'll see you soon.